My name is Alyson and I'm a registered clinical counselor, and I specialize in working with families and youth and children and all sorts of interesting situations.
I think parents today are worried about that their children aren't listening to them in the way that they want them to, that they're not always able to get them to comply. They're also concerned about some of the high levels of anxiety and overwhelm that they're seeing in their children and teens these days, and are looking for a whole new level of digital world. We've got the first time ever, this is important, the first time ever where the generation behind us is leading us. They're leading us in technology. See, it's pretty hard to know how to keep your lead when the generation behind you knows more about something, right? But knowing more about it hasn't helped anchor them. It's creating an anxiety in them too. And I'm not saying it's bad or we have to fight all the technology. I'm saying we have to be aware and know how to strategize and create the connections and pull those connections in the moments that we can, and to help them navigate and make decisions.
Families today are pretty much overwhelmed with all their overprogramming. So there's a lot of running and coming and going, and everybody going in one direction or another. And sometimes one of the major issues right now is just getting connection, getting the kids and their parents back connected again. One of the big things that teens are very afraid of when a counselor is involved is that somehow they're going to get pathologized. Somebody's going to want to say that they're the problem or there's something wrong with them. And I'm very strong in my approach that that is not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from how do we get things back on track and making.
One of the great things about working with teens and children and families, but particularly teens, is they have inner authenticity readers. And if you are not measuring, they'll nod their heads. They might be polite because they have those social skills their parents have taught them to be polite, but they're not going to take anything in. They need to feel that you are in fact a real, and see them as a real person. Often teens are very reluctant to accept the help of a professional. They think you're on mom and dad's side, you're on their side, and they're not going to want anything to do with you if you're just another adult coming in with like, I couldn't solve this problem. What you have to do, like I said, it's all about getting that connection and making sure that they feel understood, that they feel that here's a safe place here for me. Alyson sees and understands me, and I'm not just another adult, I'm actually Alyson.
If you don't have a relationship with a teen, they are not going to accept your influence. So my number one thing is, how do I get a connection and a relationship going there? Relationship can come much quicker with the adults, especially when you're in the role of the professional. They're kind of ready for your assistance. Doesn't mean the teen is ready for your assistance. So you focus on making sure they feel heard and understood, and that they have their voice first. And then
I had a teen that I worked with for a long time and through a lot of difficult issues. And she actually said to me, Alyson, coming to see you is like having a spa for the soul. And that was one of those days when I was like, man, I made it. This is good. When you get that from a teen, that you're the spa for the soul. But I think in many ways it is. It's that safe place, that place where they feel that they can just come and nurture what they need and feel healthy and clean up what they need and also be taken care of.
You have to help them laugh at some of the absurdities in life, and you have to be able to laugh along with them. And kind of remember to look for the humor in situations and lighten it up at the right moments. There are certain moments where things need to be taken seriously, and there are certain moments that things need to be lightened up. So one of the things I like to do is be able to make sure that we all can have a laugh together, even in the most serious of sessions or meetings. That's one thing I think that makes me unique. One of several. Some of the other things is that I am very common sense and practical in my approach. I believe that it's part of my kind of philosophy and my practice is that you give somebody concrete ideas, something practical that they can apply, something that isn't beyond their reach or isn't just this expert with some sort of magic answer, right? It's something that they can apply to their lives quickly. Information, and my background is very strong in parent education, as well as developmental psychology, understanding the different needs of different ages. But it is very much about assisting those parents in getting back in the right relationship with their children. But that's a hard balance. how to lead and listen at the same time, how to make tough decisions when you know they might disappoint your children, and how to be flexible at the right moments when they need a little bit more rope to go out and test the world. And those are very difficult decisions. Perspective, and I want them to know that they know what they're doing, and I'm just going to help them and remind them. I might give them some practical applications, but they are operating from the best place possible. They've got their kids' backs like nobody else, right? And sometimes it's just getting them back to that intuitive parenting, that place of trusting themselves and their own decisions again. And that teens and youth need to feel understood, and they need to feel that there's space for them to have some autonomy in the world, but that they can rest enough to continue to grow and to be truly mature, because we have an issue today that too many children are acting sophisticated and we think they're mature. They're not mature yet. We've got to give them enough space to grow and get there, right? So we can talk about how to make sure that happens.
I'm passionate about this. I do this work because I am driven to be of service. It feels great, and I don't mind the challenge. I don't mind when this is hard. I don't mind when a really tough situation comes in front of me, because it makes me a better person, because I have to pull on something, that authenticity I was talking about, to bring it to the situation and to say, okay, I can be of service here. And at the end of the day, that feels great. And that doesn't mean I have to solve every problem. In fact, sometimes I have to get out of the way of doing that. I have to be present, right? So it requires me to be present. It lets me be of service. I get to touch people's lives. It is constantly creative. I will tell you something that is sort of an unknown secret in some ways about this world, this counseling world, is we don't have a clue what's coming through our office any time at all. And people who are not comfortable with being able to respond in the moment, it's probably not a great field for them. People who kind of like that, like me, where just throw whatever you got at me and it makes me present, it makes me attend. So I love being of service to others, but I love this work because it feels good for me to do this work. And I want to experience a platform where I can touch a lot of lives. And I feel like I got a lot in me that could fill many, many hours. And I really want that opportunity to bring that forth. So I want that platform. I want to touch a lot of lives because I feel like I have a lot to give and contribute. And I feel like my particular way of presenting information comes in a package that is charismatic enough, attentive enough, practical enough, and fun enough that I can touch a lot of lives. I'm just waiting. I'm ready to go. That's all I got.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say that you haven't already said?
Oh yeah, the volumes. Give me more airtime. Yes, much, much, much more. I've got so much more to say.